There is literally no need ever to miss a call. We mystery shop to lots of clinics and other businesses, and it's unbelievable. Touching 70% of calls don't get through to somebody or who can add any value whatsoever. So it's just pointless building your business, staffing it with people, leasing all the kit, and then someone finds your business, calls it, and no one responds. Welcome to the Implement AI podcast, where we explore how AI is transforming businesses in the real world. At Implement AI, we help organizations move beyond AI experimentation to put AI to work. Through our AOS platform and teams of AI workers, we've deployed hundreds of AI agents across multiple sectors, helping businesses drive revenue, increase capacity, improve customer experiences, and get more done without growing their headcount. Each week on the podcast, we share practical insights from the front line of AI implementation, cutting through the hype to discuss what is actually working, where businesses are seeing real value, and what the future of work looks like as human teams and AI workers operate side by side. So let's get into today's conversation. I'm Piers.
I'm Aalok.
Well, I don't know if it's hotter here or in Lisbon.
Well, the aircon in the office is not working, so I'm in a meeting room, so it's much cooler here. So I think it might be hotter in the UK actually than it is in Lisbon.
I've got a bike company. I was loading bikes at the weekend, and my co-founder's in a bike park as well, and people pay like 50 quid a day, and hardly anyone turned up. I couldn't bear it wearing like a full face helmet and body armor in like 30 degrees.
I was by the beach.
Always remind you to do the things you love doing, because I just don't do them enough.
No, I agree. I was with my friend. It was his birthday at the weekend. We were in Ericeira. It's a very nice seaside place, and it's just like very hot, nice, walking around, good fun. It was good.
So we're gonna jump in the van for a few days now from tomorrow, I think. So we haven't got a guest this week. We've got some other great guests coming up. I think, as I said a few podcasts ago, we are going to every couple of weeks we like to focus on the practicalities. So we're going to talk a bit about use cases, the sectors, what we've done, some customers, case studies, and the reality of what we're actually doing. So it helps you then, if you're an avid listener of our podcast or new to our podcast, I'll introduce you in a moment. It just helps you sort of picture almost where you can deploy this technology. Otherwise, it's quite abstract, isn't it?
Exactly. So if we'll talk about like where we deploy a workforce as a service, what sectors we do it for, and also most importantly, whether you want to be an Implement AI partner and you know some businesses that are in these sectors with these use cases and these pain points, you can then think about joining our partner program and introducing businesses to that. Or if you have a business yourself and you're thinking that is a pain point, that is a missed opportunity, can we do that? Because time and time again, honestly, there's just so much opportunity from businesses just tightening the levers, closing off some of those leaks and getting stuff done. And the key thing is just like, the summer is a great time to start pushing and getting things ready. So September, you can have break Q3, Q4.
It's quite interesting because in our financial model, we have like a seasonality in the summer. But last year and this year, it seems to be the busiest period. I found it's never usually been the case in my B2B experience. But I think people just sort of realize that they need to do something in AI, no matter what month it is. So if you're new to the podcast, if you're not new to the podcast, please, if you enjoy it, and I know that we can see the numbers, the audience is growing quickly, is please leave a review on Apple. It really does help us. And do all the YouTube stuff if you're watching on YouTube. So like, subscribe, ring the bell because you don't want to miss episodes of our podcast. If you're new to it, we're Aalok and Piers, the co-founders of Implement AI. So essentially, we provide AI workforce as a service. That's how I like to look at it. Quite different, we're horizontal. So you're going to see as you go through some of these use cases that we deploy and we manage them over time, actually, entire workforces that can deliver entire workflows for your business. So most AI companies are vertical. They do one thing, they try to do it well. Some might do, I'm an AI SDR, but AI PA. Some are sector specific, which is quite big. Some are very big, doing like customer service. We're different. So we'll deploy an agent that will do the research and then do the work and then follow up. So lots on our website and our resource center, and we've just got a new website actually. So there's lots on there. And also, if you want to be a partner, you can contact us via the website as well, and we'll send you some information to help you opportunity spot, which is what we're going to talk about. Let's jump into it then, right? So we've got a list here about 8 different, I'd say the top use case. There are lots, and you can design your own actually, because some are very specific to our customers. But there's 8 that kind of stand out, isn't there? So let's maybe rattle through all 8, and then let's pick off 4 of them big ones, and also talk about the sectors.
Exactly. So let's start with that, right? So basically, so just like you said, Piers, we work across sectors. So the use case I'm going to talk about are drawn from different clients across dental, healthcare, logistics, distribution, property, estate agents, recruitment, facilities maintenance, telecom, ISP, childcare, education, marketing, digital agencies, and also like engineering. So the question is, you might think, that's quite a broad group, right? But actually, if you start thinking about it in terms of the functions that a business does, there's quite a lot of commonalities. So I'm going to go through, first of all, a list of some of the kind of key use cases that our AI workforce as service does for people. And then we'll go into a bit more detail on a select few of those ones, basically, right? So if we think about this, we always think there's like a kind of core eight that every business should run. So one of them, let's talk about that out of hours response agent. So for any business whose phone rings after 5 o'clock, basically, right? That's one use case. Another one is reactivation campaigns for any business with a dormant customer list on its CRM or in its emails, basically, right? Another one would then be a call analyst agent, which would then be for any customer, any business which has phone call orders, phone call support, anything like that happening. Then there's the booking and appointment agent for any business that lives on appointments, viewings, or consultations. Then there's also like a sys-support and system lookup agent, which is for any business answering the same questions day after day from either a knowledge base or from a system or where is my order or all that kind of stuff. Then there's like the email analyst agent for any business with multiple inboxes across multiple places and that are busy and they want to make sure they don't miss any issues and stuff like that. Then there's a research and enrichment agent for any business that wants better leads and new data on prospects or customers. Then there's a credit control agent for any business with outstanding invoices. So like they're the main ones. Now we got some additional add-ons as well, which we can talk about afterwards. But why don't we get started with
As you go through them, you can, I'm sure if you're listening to this or watching this, you can imagine how they can be strung together. So there's an out of hours agent takes a call. It may write a proposal and send it out. It may follow up the next day. It may then book a meeting. It might send an email, could analyze the emails and follow up in the same way. But again, these work best at, if you think about being a partner as well, these work best as scale, right? There's no point having a call analyst agent analyzing 5 phone calls a month. You want 500, 5,000. That's going to make a real difference.
So let's talk about out of hours response agent. Very simple. So here it would answer every outbound call, inbound call after business hours. It could handle inquiries, log tickets, escalate genuine emergencies, and hand your team a clean morning briefing so the missed calls, right? So what if you look at this, for example, what we need from you is basically like knowledge-based content on FAQs, the procedures of service info, any ticketing system access, and whether it's Zendesk, Freshdesk, or anything like that. If there's an on-call team, what you need to escalate some emergencies to, then at the same time your business hours so it can trigger from within there. And then what we would then do is we'd configure the agent, which would then answer the call, log everything with the caller, timestamp, and outcome. Tickets can be created with a call summary. Urgent use case can be escalated to your on-call team. Weekly report can be shown via command automatically of like total calls answered, tickets created, on-call reduction, top inquiry times. We can also then configure human handoff to transfer live to people. So if you answer the call and someone's got an emergency, it can be transferred live to the person. Voicemail fallback for unanswered calls and automatic ticket creation, basically. So the point here is that you can always have an overflow call answering because if it's a voicemail, many people would just abandon that. So that's like one of the kind of like key, cleanest, simplest use cases, basically. Anything to add on that one?
I said the out of hours agent, and this is, I think, really important. We've got some customers who want to kind of very, very quick response, right? So that's competitive edge. But the out of hours agent can also be almost like an in hours agent. What it allows you to do is almost like triage who does what. So the agents do the mundane, the repetitive, where is my order, basic lookups, and then your human team. This is within a working day. They can then focus on those calls actually where they can add more value. So this can work within the working day, but it adds more value out of hours. And the difference with AI agents is that your agent doing its job at 2 a.m. on a Saturday is the same cost as doing it at 1 p.m. on a Tuesday. No different.
But you could do things better. So, for example, companies which are paying some out of hours call answering service, they could reallocate to this and they would get more insights and more missed opportunities in the details and the CRM updates automatically. Also, this out of hours agent can also be configured as an immediate inquiry response agent. So, what that would be is if somebody filled out a web form saying, I'm interested in viewing this property at 2 p.m., submits the web form, or I'm interested in ordering a new speedboat or whatever like this, basically, right? It could then call them and ask them a list of questions because before any kind of like sophisticated product is sold, there's generally a list of questions you want to ask about it. And then this can help get those informations and then directly transfer to a person if needed, or get all the information so that a team member can then do a detailed meeting with them. So that's the simple one there.
I'd say the point here, you mentioned it, there's no need ever to use voicemail. I don't care what your business is. And there is literally no need ever to miss a call. We mystery shop to lots of clinics and other businesses, and it's unbelievable. It's like 50, some at lunchtime, almost touching 70% of calls don't get through to somebody or who can add any value whatsoever. So it's just pointless building gyms as well. You're building your business, staffing it with people, leasing all the kit, and then someone finds your business, calls it, and no one responds.
Yeah. Oh, the team, it should be this looking after the people inside the location. So let's go use case number 2, reactivation campaigns. So any business with a dormant list in its CRM. So you've got lapsed leads and past customers to re-engage, qualify, and book. So the pipeline can appear from contacts that were costing nothing, basically, right? Like they were just dormant, essentially, right? So what we'd want to do here is basically get a lead list from you with your, name, phone number, last interaction, reason for lapse. And then what we would then do is put together a call script with you and like ideally have an offer, which is like a reason to engage to kind of get ready. And then what we recommend for the best engagement is you get that person to be sent an SMS, which is branded with your company name. So it could say like ABC Windows Limited, for example, and it'd be like, hi, you inquired before. I'm going to give you a call in a few minutes, basically. It'd be great to see if you're still interested in getting a new window, for example, right? Then the person gets called. Typically, they will answer because they already just saw that message within there. And then what that then means is you can actually then qualify and understand, are you still interested in looking at it? What's the reason you didn't go ahead? Is there any things that you're looking for? And then that can happen. And we've seen very clever versions of this, ranging from a research agent where it says, this is not a sales call. I'm just calling to like, see if you inquired about getting this service and why you didn't proceed, all the way to actually we have an appointment available tomorrow. Do you want it, basically, right? Like last minute cancellation booking. So you could do reactivations, whether it's timely, like you've got some time slots you're trying to fill up, or you've got it based on like just trying to find out as part of a multi-step sales process, are you still looking for that service? Like, are you still looking to get a speedboat? Are you still looking to get a new loft? Are you still looking to get a new get your teeth straightened or whatever it is? Like the point is, if you understand the intent, that can then be routed to a team member who can understand, what's the best day to come in, what's the best time. So
About a speedboat, it's something you want to tell us.
there's not a
But
speedboat, but I'll go to a different place.
right. But also, there's something between an out of hours agent and a reactivation agent. There's something in the middle, and that's where if you think about reactivation, it depends how dormant, how stale, how long it's been since that person was contacted or engaged with. So, for example, what happens quite a lot, I've had quite a few customers do this, you'll get a load of sales opportunities, you try and get through them during the week, and then over the weekend or whatever period it is, more build up. And it's like almost like sedimentary rock, sediments in a river. You're never going to get to the ones that were 2 weeks ago now. They're building up. So over time, although it might not be a reactivation of dormant leads, these can be just going through leads that, maybe they weren't contacted out of hours for whatever reason.
Or the team contacted them, but they couldn't reach them. I see this every single day. Tried to call this customer 3 times, couldn't reach them, and then it gets basically stuck in like in purgatory, CRM purgatory of like unable to contact lead. Like this can work in the evenings and weekends.
That's the middle. I say it's not reactivation out of hours. It's just making sure you follow up.
Exactly. So what this then does is it has like there's two things. There's like having the SMS to the person, having the call, and then at the same time it has an inbound function. So if the person calls back from the missed call, it'll handle the inquiry at that point in time. So
And it knows who they are, whether we have to know you structured it, right? But whether SMS, WhatsApp, email, and they call back, as long as they identify with that phone number, they know the history.
exactly. So to me, that's like an essential for all businesses, those 2 ones. Okay. Let's go to the third one, call analyst agents. So any business that records calls. So my first point here is record your calls, basically, right? Like if you're not reporting your calls, you should be reporting your calls. There's so much opportunity there. And what this would then do is it will analyze 100% of the calls that the humans do. It will understand the outcomes, the lead quality, missed revenue, coaching signals. Manual Q&A could only review around 5%. I'm talking about like understanding every single one, basically, right? Like so you can understand, cross-sell opportunities. We can customize across 35 dimensions of analysis, ranging from did the team ever try and book the appointment on the call? What was the price list of the service that was discussed on there? How well was empathy arranged? Is there a complaint? Is there a churn risk? Is this the second time they're contacting? All these sorts of things. So
Did they follow the sales script? Why are your top 25% of salespeople?
Did they try and cross-sell? Like all that kind of stuff. So the point here, what we need is your call recordings, and then what we can actually then, what matters to you per call outcomes, quality criteria, review signals, and then we'll help you with a quality grid or scoring framework and which numbers. And then what we'll then give you is you'll structure data every call, missed revenue opportunities flagged, and they can be escalated to a team member, weekly report, total calls analyzed, booking rate, missed opportunities, quality scores, and trends over time. So what this gives you is so much useful info that you can then actually start, closing people on. Because we've seen things ranging from basically shadow notes, where it's basically like stop spotting compliance risks, like this customer's complaining, this person is like doing this, or there's some fraud going on. We've even spotted stuff like that, all the way to 32% of your calls have a missed cross-sell opportunity, which you're not mentioning. People who mentioned, let's say, this insurance product were not sold some income protection, but they could have been sold that income protection. So if you had a call analyst agent combined with, let's say, a reactivation agent, but it was configured to like offer a cross sell, for example, hey, thanks for buying this service from us last week, but would you also want to add, critical illness cover, basically, right? Just reply to this message and I'll set up a meeting with you. All that stuff can then just be a team which uncovers much more revenue for you, basically, isn't it?
If you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh, I don't record my phone calls actually. We just cannot emphasize how important it is to capture phone calls, inbound, outbound, because you can analyze, and as Aalok just said, in 35 different dimensions, right? And when the AI agents make phone calls, and they can be outbound, they can be inbound, we do outbound, inbound calls for very large companies. It's FTSE 100 division actually, and that data you can capture and analyze in real time. So we have Command, which is our agent that sits above it, lets you basically talk to that data. But you can also connect it to all of your human systems as well, your human calls that are recorded. So now you have this insight across all phone calls, whether it's done by a human or an AI, and you can compare the two and then fill the gap.
So let's go to the next use case, number 4, booking an appointment agent. So if your basic business is like appointment-based selling, so you're selling an appointment, a viewing, or a consultation, then we can put together for you is an agent which will call them or answer the call, and basically it will then book appointments, showings or consultations straight into your calendar and CRM with guardrails. So nothing is confirmed until it's confirmed. So for example, what we need is calendar access like Outlook, Google Calendar, or your booking system, CRM access for lead data and booking records. We go through the script with you, and then we also include, for example, our agents have like dual close techniques, like what you prefer, morning or afternoon, all that kind of stuff. Like think about how much training you do for your team to like try and increase the booking number of phone calls. Also guardrails, so it will never book the appointment until it's consistent confirms it. We also, for example, have people that want to send a deposit when they book something. So the agent can then send an SMS, which is a booking link for them to then pay, and it can basically say that a payment link to like confirm it. So basically says like, I provisionally held this appointment for you. Please pay this and it'll be confirmed, for example, right? Then it can also be like, a CRM write through. And then it can also be, fallbacks if necessary, like, oh, my team will confirm it with you. So the point here is that bookings in your calendar can be done with the invite sent, CRM can be updated. And essentially, people just want to be able to like book stuff, right? I mean, the number of times I'll contact a place, like whether it's a car wash, I'll be like, do you have an appointment available today at this time, whatever it is? Or it's like, I want to get a haircut.
Or like a speedboat showroom.
Exactly. Or to be honest, a personal drone. I was looking at this drone you can stand on, basically, right?
Oh
And you can
my
actually
God.
fly, but
Yeah.
it's a bit pricey. So I was like, yeah, and it looks a bit dodgy, basically, a bit dangerous. But like that's a different matter. But like, if you want to go for a trial of that one, then you want to book an appointment, isn't it? Right?
It's amazing me. We love these restaurants, don't they? I won't mention their names, but there's companies that do restaurant bookings. And then when you actually speak to it and you try and book something, okay, it'll book your table. When you say, what's on the menu? What are the vegan options? It doesn't know.
It says I'm going to transfer you to human, and there's no human available to answer it, basically, right?
You can provide quite a bit of information, so you can have a conversation and they'll make the booking. But then the human, if they need to, can call back and change the booking as well, but it knows who they are.
Exactly. Or the person could call back and change and move their appointment if they wanted to and stuff like this. But you bring up an important point, right? You can combine that with like the knowledge base, so it can say like what's on the menu. It can also say for party bookings or different stuff like this, whatever you got there. So they're the details there. So let's go to the next use case, which is support and system lookup. So this could be web chat or voice agent or SMS. So what this is doing is it's answering customer inquiries 24/7 by voice or web chat, and it's looking up live information in your CRM, ticketing system, knowledge base, or portal. You can create tickets and hand off to a human with full context. And the web chat version allows file sharing, clickable links, and downloadable transcripts. So, for example, what this means is that, like, if we've got your knowledge base content, FAQs, procedures, and we can also help you put those knowledge base stuff together. We also got CRM system, ticketing system. Then what we can then do is like understand the department routing rules and handoff procedure. Then basically, what will happen is it will answer the call or answer the chat. It will log everything with full context. And then it can look up the system. It can identify the person and say, okay, yes, your order is due on this date. So it's like, where is my order? Like, or what's happening with this? Or can I change my address or whatever like this, basically, like all that kind of stuff. It can be logged this way. So what you're doing is you're increasing your surface area of interactivity, and you're also increasing the being around the clock, so you can actually help more people access what they want. Because ultimately, all customers want, right, is the easiest way to be able to like guide their preference. Like that's what it comes down to, basically, right? It's like what's going on here and help you do that, basically. So this is very powerful when you can actually help people almost self-serve and do it much quicker than a person would. Because otherwise, imagine you call a place, oh, and then you got to then talk to the person. They've got to look at the system, and then repeating several times. It'd be very painful, basically. This can give you a much cleaner system to look at that.
As the business grows and the inbound grows, you don't have to step up capacity in terms of human labor. You can triage it. And again, I would say, let the AIs do the mundane, repetitive, and I will say, automate the mundane and let your human colleagues do the meaningful, essentially. So it just means that as you grow, you can redeploy the humans to actually add more value. And what's also interesting, Aalok, is that we've got people say, "Oh, but yeah, voice agents, people like talking to them." I mean, we listen to thousands of these phone calls, and what's interesting is that even when people say, often some customers say it is an AI agent or an AI assist, whatever they want to call it. Some don't, and the caller and the person, the human on the call will say, "Oh, are you an AI or real?" "Yeah, I'm an AI agent," and they just carry on talking to it and still thank it at the end. And some people where it might be a difficult conversation, like debt collection, for example, they're happier talking to an AI because they don't feel it's judging them.
And the thing is, how many people have had to be disciplined for, like, say, the wrong things on the phone or being abusive or being rude, all that kind of stuff, basically. You don't have that situation here. The other multiplier you can also add on is multilingual and different time zones. So you can actually then have like multilingual versions of customer support. So imagine you're a company and you want to provide, APAC coverage or South American time zone coverage, or, you don't want to look after customers Spanish speaking, in South America at a different time zone. You can actually have support set up in those different ways for this. So it allows you in a very cost-effective way to scale your kind of like, capacity and customer service potential there. So let's go to the next one, email analyst agent. So many businesses have salespeople, support people, or team members that basically have left the business. There was lots of deals within there, but they don't know what's going on, don't know who's been replied to. There's an email analyst agent which can connect to multiple inboxes, can connect to up to 30 inboxes, even more than that. And what it can do is it can read the emails, track the inquiries, measure the response times, track the data, and surface of opportunities and risks. So, for example, we'd connect to your Outlook, Gmail, or shared inboxes, and then what we'd actually want to understand is like what to extract, inquiry type, sentiment, response time, deal potential, similar to like the 35 dimensions that we talked about the phone calls. And then what we'd then do is we then help you understand and give you a structured insight into urgent, high value inquiries. For example, one business we found out that they had 750 inquiries which had never been replied to. They'd been filed as complete. The inquiries were neatly filed as complete in the inbox, basically saying complete, and they were never replied to, basically, right?
Who was that? So is that because a salesperson just did that to reduce the work and make it look like they've done the work they hadn't?
And then we've got other people where they're basically like, they've never been replied to. Like, for example, like it shows on the CRM that like deals are open, but there was never an email actually sent to these people, basically, right? So there's all sorts of stuff that we can surface and see.
It's not just avoiding things slipping through the cracks. It's making sure that what you think has been done has actually been done.
They get visible, and it's just helping people. Everyone intends to do a good job. So, but the question is like sometimes they just get overwhelmed or whatever like this. So the point of this is like helping people understand it. What you can also see is that imagine, for example, you've got 50 sites you were trying to like manage in your business, basically. And imagine you can see that like you're getting complaints in 3 locations based on the opening times, and you thought you were open till 7 p.m., but actually it turns out that 3 people turned up at 7 p.m. or 6:45 and it was already closed. I'll give you an example, basically, right? Like you would never normally be able to like spot all these things, but with this you could actually spot all these different things, or you can see that these people are at risk of churn because they've emailed 3 times in the last 2 weeks and they complained. Now, if 3 different people were answering the email those times, they don't know that the person inquired, it several times over the last few weeks in that kind of regard.
You can see across all systems. You can look at the emails or the inbound calls of what they said. Are they happy? It can look at is the usage of your product slipping away?
So that's a success agent built on top of an email analyst and a call analyst and something else, basically, right? Like, but you're absolutely right, Piers. Like you can start getting really interesting by adding those things on top of it, basically, right? So I think like that's another thing. I think visibility of your phone calls and emails is very important because they're the lifeblood of the business, basically, isn't it? Right? And you want to see what's going on. Go to the next use case. So research enrichment agent. Many businesses we say I need more leads, and quite a lot of businesses basically have a no customer target. So what does this mean? It means that you want to sell to lawyers, or you want to sell to MSPs, or you want to sell to car fitting showrooms, or you want to sell to personal trainers, whatever the business is, right? The point is you can search those people, you put a list together of those ones, but then you can also enrich it. So what this would then do is it will then we could go through with you, like the research keywords, target sectors, your lead list template, examples of them. And then we also want to understand, like what are the kind of like key people you're trying to target and what are the signals that make them much more interesting? Like they just raised funding or they just announced a new location or a new CTO has joined or whatever the thing is basically. And what this will then do is it will build and maintain a lead list and find the contact information, enrich the records and run market research on a schedule. So you've got a continuous living updated lead list with high priority leads flagged, plus a weekly report with like leads research, enrichment rate, contact detail coverage and lead quality. That can then be combined with an outreach agent, which could either call or email. And we have this for clients where we're actually calling, like businesses, offering a particular service, and we're getting people want to go ahead with that kind of thing, basically. Like it's a meeting, basically, right? But it's so interesting because you've able to like target and research the, just the businesses you want, which have like a good website, these technologies. They also got like, these number of like employees within the place, and they got this service. They just mentioned this in the news as well. So then they're a good fit. And then if you offer the specific thing for their pain point, that could work very, very well. And this could be daily or on demand.
I get quite a call hospitality companies, right? So they've obviously done some research from somewhere. They email you or get your number somehow from the database. And I think, well, why aren't they using AIs? Because the amount of ground you could cover, talk to people about, do you want some tickets at the F1 at Silverstone, whatever it is. You could cover so much more ground. And when someone is interested, then you can escalate to a human. So there were so many businesses, I think, that they could just cover so much more ground by implementing, again, so this is the research. And we always say, then what? They need some action. And the action typically is humans. We can start with the AIs to sort of sift through where the real value is, let the humans follow up.
Exactly, and just see people are interested. And then number 8 use case would be credit control agents. So, everybody's got overdue invoices, different stuff. So this can call customers with overdue invoices, chase payment, update your finance records, report outcomes daily. Every company has debtors, almost none of the capacity to like chase them continuously.
And this is a no-brainer, this one. I don't know why. We have companies we have customers that are quite complex, don't they? Agents. And kind of, why haven't you got a credit control agent? Or I'll say, what about, I think very similar one to this is compliance, because it is kind of compliance in a way. It's kind of, well, this should have happened. Did it happen? Well, no, there's a gap.
It's like an auditor. It's like an auditor,
an
basically.
auditor.
Right?
And the beauty of our platform with the horizontal is, well, there's a gap. We've audited it. Well, now what? Do I write a report? Do I have to follow up? And that's what you can do. You can't do it
Example
with
is that
just a compliance agent.
like for some companies, we have like a CRM audit agent, basically, which basically means that like when a new record was created this week, is it 100% complete? Like, is every single field filled out? Is anything missing from within there? So this credit control agent, what we need is like a CRM or finance portal access, customer data list with payment status, account list with the name one contact responsible for each one, and approval of the script. And then basically what it will do is it'll outbound call in business hours and time zone. It will then also like have automations where a new overdue account can trigger a call, outcome capture can be done, promise to pay, disputed, no answer, and follow-up tasks with emails on every promise to pay. So it also says, I'll pay. It could chase them to kind of see if they have paid, basically, that can happen. So the point here is you've got that kind of capacity to be able to like see those sorts of things. So those were the 8 kind of like, I would say that like every kind of business almost kind of like needs those different ones. What we can actually do is we can talk through about some kind of like customizations and add-ons for some different ones. But maybe do you want to talk a little bit about like anything about implement AI and different stuff like that before we go to that next bit?
Before we get back into the conversation, a very quick word on Implement AI. We provide managed AI workers through our workforce platform, an AI workforce as a service for SMEs, regulated businesses, and we have large enterprise customers too. Our highly configurable agents communicate through enterprise voice, WhatsApp, SMS, and email, and they can use and operate across all of your systems, even when there's no API. Our interactive agents engage customers, our analyst agents surface insights, and our action agents complete work. The outcome is very simple: more revenue, more capacity, and better customer experiences. So start with a pilot to identify rapid ROI use cases, then scale whatever works. Go to implementai.io to learn more. what we do, again, there's a lot of information on our website. We've got a resources center, we've got some more collateral. So we've got 2 platforms. So the one we're talking about here, really, the agents, and these are AI workforce as a service. We help you pick the use cases. We help you configure them on our platform, deploy them, optimize them, manage them, and then keep adding agents over time. So if you think that deploying AI agents is a project, you're mistaken. This is going to be, especially if you're senior leadership, your job forever.
It's just basically a different capacity of workforce.
Every company is going to have a human workforce and an AI workforce. So, give you an example. So, we have a customer that said, "No, we have a core analyst agent, but it's not very good. So, why not? We don't know what goes on. Yeah, well, why don't you look at the analysis? Oh, they don't do analysis agents. They just do call agent perhaps." So, our platform, the workforce platform, we call it, allows you to string together these agents to actually add a huge amount of value.
And we do it for you.
And we do it for you forever, basically. Then you've got another product called Command, and Command sits above Workforce and lets you literally in real time talk to these agents and gain insights. And you can also schedule it to then that their insights, schedule it to do work. So actually create your own agents in real time. And that can be connected to all your human systems and all your software as a service.
To manage them, to audit them and stuff like that.
Email, CRM, calendar, finance, you name it. It abstracts you from that software almost. So you can then gain insights from both that technology and, well, that technology that's been used by humans and through workforce through the AI agents. So that's what we do. Our website is implementai.io. And if you want to talk to us, you can click on a link there and arrange a call with our sales team.
So I'll just talk about things like, so people, when they say like, oh, well, people answer the phone, well, SMS, adding an SMS add-on or a WhatsApp pre-reach add-on, generally SMS is better, like, because it helps people have that branded response. So it can be branded your company with the different details and people can respond to that as well. That helps increase the number of engagement from calls, which is amazing. And we've seen even 3 times more engagement from that, basically, right? Even things can be like, I tried to reach you, call me back on this number, or I'm trying to help you get a lower price on your gas bill. Whatever the point is, basically. As long as you got the value from it, you get more response from that. Other ones could be inquiry intake and deal update agents. This could be monitor incoming inquiries. And what it can actually do is that it can create and update deals automatically and keep records enriched on a daily schedule. So that's going to be quite useful.
I'd put in there, I'd call in there sales support. So if you've got a sales team, you've got sales support, so updating CRM, check it's being updated. Your salespeople can have a video call, a phone call, even email if you want them to. And then the agent can then look at that and update the CRM perfectly every time. Because we all know salespeople don't, not because they don't want to, there's more interesting things to do. And now you can make sure that the information is captured properly every time.
Exactly. Then there could be inbound triage agent, which can almost replace those IVR type things where it can answer the inbound calls during the hours, handle FAQs, and then route to the right people when needed. Then you've got document analysis agents where somebody has, like, for example, sent either like a spreadsheet, a PDF, or a document. They can extract information from it and then feed that into another agent or update into a system or check if something is missing and send it back and chase for those different informations. And then the other ones are like specialist plays, which are very powerful, like computer use agents.
That's not an add-on, is it? I'd say
I call it a specialist play, basically, right? So what that is that, like, if there's a legacy system which has got no API, this can access that and update systems based on what happened from a phone call or from a message, or it could be monitoring a system by logging in and seeing has something happened or not happened and flagging it. So, for example, with one business where we were monitoring whether people did something or not over the weekend, and it monitored 73 incidents where it was more than an hour late that the person hadn't done the job, basically. And so it was able to alert them automatically, autonomously, and by checking the systems consistently, and then it can alert the right people. So you just can't do that.
that's both using it in a browser, but it can also log into a system on your desktop, can't it? And
Your remote desktop and stuff like that. Both types of computer use or browser agent, basically, and that can be very, very powerful because to pay somebody to do weekend cover, it's time and a half, it's the full weekend, and if you got 73 instances, is it really worth paying somebody all that money for all that kind of stuff? Other one is mystery shopping. Like, this is very interesting. We've done mystery shopping for some businesses, and now some businesses coming to us saying, "Can you give us a mystery shopping as a service capability to look after our own businesses?" And so they're interested in managing submitting website inquiries to their own companies and calling their own companies and then checking, the response on different stuff across different voices, different times.
we've got a mystery shopper. We've done campaigns where it's called, 1,500 different retail outlets, right? Had, thousands of conversations. And 99.999% of people probably don't even realize they're talking to an AI, even when it tells them it does. And the information you get is unbelievable.
So that's like a bit of an overview. So what I would say is that like we've got like almost recommended starter packs based on industry. So if you're in healthcare, you look at out of hours, reactivation and booking call, booking agent and call analyst. If you're in logistics distribution, you look at credit control, call analyst and out of hours. If you're in property and estate agents, it'd be like booking, inbound triage, out of hours and reactivation. If you're recruitment, it'd be research enrichment, email analyst and lead gen. If you're facilities maintenance, it might be out of hours, inbound triage, support and lookup. If you're in telecom ISP, it might be web chat support, out of hours and lookup. If you're in childcare education, it might be booking support, lookup, inquiry intake. If you're a marketing digital agency, it might be deal update and research enrichment, email analyst. So I think that the whole point is that there's so many initial use cases, and then there's the extended use cases afterwards, basically.
It's not, you got to think about it. You might listen to this podcast or watch it and think, oh, okay, that'll be quite good actually. But don't just stop there. You got to think about it. And then don't forget the technology is improving, our platform's improving at a time. And when you have workforce, you get commands. A command, you can schedule, you can say in command, for example, for me, I'll say every Monday morning, please look at our live customers, go and do some research on the internet, wherever I tell it to, about signals in their businesses, and let me and the sales and delivery team know. So scheduling work. You can even create quite a simple credit control agent. Every day of the week.
You can update your agents. You can talk to the insights from the calls. You can see all the people that inserted it. Like there's so many things like,
and that's all in natural language, isn't it?
Exactly. So I think the point here is that like people always say, oh, I wish I had more people, or I wish I could clone myself. Well, with these systems, you kind of can. And if you focus on like the kind of main use case to drive things forward, I think one of the biggest mistakes I see clients make is that like the leadership buys into it, but then it gets handed down to a particular department or a particular person, and they don't have the vision of like pushing everything, to move things forward. They kind of like focus on one particular area. And I'm not saying one area is not important, but it can slow things down, or it can actually not drive the levers at the time required. So I think what's important to think about is like, look, we need out of hours coverage. We need reactivation. I mean, it's just so elementary, right? Like why would you not have these things basically, right? Like, so having those things in place, it means you can actually progress much faster.
And then the last thing really we'll end on really is that if you're listening to this, you're thinking, well, I don't really need that, but I know somebody who does. Yeah. This is our partner program. So we have a referral partner program. We're also building a reseller program, which we'll come back to later in the year. But essentially, if you have a network or customers, or you're consultant, you have clients, and they need to deploy artificial intelligence, every company does. And you hear these use cases, or there's lots more in the collateral on our website, and you think, right, I can help them, introduce them to us, and we do all the work. So we talk to them, we select the use case, we configure it, we test it, we optimize it, deploy it, and we manage it over time. That's what we do. And then you can earn a commission on all those introductions. And there's a portal where you can track all the commissions. So that increasingly we're seeing more and more people that a consultant is a great example. You can talk about this technology, but you can't deploy it, whereas we can. Even if you're a massive consultancy, actually, we're talking to quite a few, and you don't want to get out of bed for less than £500,000, you can start to deploy solutions here for your customers and clients that cost far, far less, much less than that. So that, if you're listening to this, that's a really big opportunity to sort of monetize your network as well. 40 minutes in, I think. So that was one where we want to go through every couple of weeks, just more and more use cases, and we can deep dive into them, and we've got more case studies. So there's nothing here that we just make up, right? This is all based on things that we have actually done. There's nothing you've heard in this podcast where it's kind of blue sky, right? It's things that we've actually done. So the sectors, they're the ones that we've kind of found that we've engaged with, and the opportunities to deploy AI where they create the most value start here. There's lots of other complicated ones. So we don't do a lot of marketing, for example, because there's a lot of humans in the loop and a subjectivity about the content and the copy and changes. What you want in your business or as a partner is a clean, reasonably linear workflow that's a repetitive task with some scale. And that's where it works best. Aalok's going to go and pick a speedboat. I'm going to get back to it. So thanks again for listening to us, and we'll see you again. We've got another guest, I think, in the next podcast, and we've got some amazing guests. We had, the chair of IBM UK in the last podcast, and we've got some more great guests coming in the future. So we'll see you soon.
See you then.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Implement AI podcast. If you're interested in learning more about how we can assist you in your business in leveraging AI for growth and efficiency, visit our website at implementai.io. Don't forget to subscribe to the Implement AI podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or wherever you listen to stay updated on future episodes. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.